organization, your grant number, who prepares your grant, and the phone number right there on the top. Please put down the expenses for the month that you are invoicing us for, and there will be a place where you can put in your balance there. So so as you do invoice us, your balance will be deducted down below for it says remaining balance of the grant. I would like to reiterate this. Please don't manipulate this, add things. You know, we have grantees that like to get creative and add different line items with different names. Please don't do that, because this invoice and report reflects your line items in your executed contract. And it gives Jamie a lot better ability to process everybody's payment. And so please go ahead again. Please don't manipulate the first tab. Please don't manipulate anything, but please go ahead and use it. Use this the report as is. If you have questions about it or you want to add something, please contact our CP business inbox, and we'll get back to you. But everybody should be familiar with this invoicing template. It has not changed. And so if you have questions, again, regarding this, please email the cp.business inbox, and we'll get back to you. All right. So this is the first tab, and this tab is where you're going to bill us on. Now the second tab, if you can bring that second tab up, Kelsey, this tab, I believe you do not have to do anything to this tab. This is an OED's part of their requirements they have to capture. As you fill in your numbers from the invoice that you're invoicing us on, this will pre-populate and will load for OED. So you do not have to do anything with this tab. So just an FYI, please don't touch this tab also. So again, it is for OED's purposes, and they'll go ahead and use this tab after you get done filling out your invoicing on tab number 1. So you can, as we move through this, Kelsey, now this third tab is where these are the OED requirements, and I believe Kelsey has a recorded something from Teresa. Teresa is the point of contact with OED. So this is where you're going to be inputting a lot of the client information. And being from CPOP program, I'm not really familiar with some of their regulations and stuff. So Kelsey or Lucy can take over from here and go ahead and start that recording.
Perfect. Thank you, Perry. I will have to share, I believe, a new share. So let me just make sure I get it. Can everybody see this video I'm sharing?
Yes, I can see it.
Perfect.
Yeah, I see it.
Now, I just have a quick question before we move on. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Perry, regarding the expenditure portion, the first tab, when you say this is one report, is it a combined report with our existing CPOP grant? Is that what you're saying? So we're combining everything onto one expense report, or were you just saying we use the same template?
Yeah, we're just using the same template. No, yeah, please don't combine your other reports together with this. This is all unemployment work, so it is very much separate from the CPOP grant. So we're combining, when I say combined the reports, we're combining the invoicing and the monthly activity report together into one.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
I also have a question. This is Ping. So we have two teams. I mean, for the invoice, accounting is the one who need to send you out the report. But then for the program activity, it should be my staff who does not have any, relationship to see the access of the invoice at all. So is it possible to send in the two different emails, because one is going to be invoice report and one is going to be program activity report?
Yeah, we'd like to keep one report. If you can collect that type of information within your office and combine it into all one report, that would be sufficient for us. We did that was the ask of OED. Typically with the CPOP program and the Cover All Kids program, that's exactly why we do two two reports because they're much different. Financial offices and program are two different things. So I do realize that, but this was a request of OED to have one report for their ease. So if you could please work with that the best as you can, and internally bring in your invoicing your numbers, and then your operational numbers into one, and then obviously then input them all into one report. That would be please go ahead and do that.
All right, perfect. I'm going to start the video if everybody's okay with that.
I'm going to provide a quick overview of how to complete the application assistance log through your grant with CPOP and the Oregon Health Authority, and with us through them. So first, we'll just take a look at it real quick. So what you should see here is the Excel document with your reporting. And all I'm covering today is the application assistance log. So this is information that with the employment department, we need to collect in order to report how we have been spending these funds as it relates to the work that you're doing. So the health authority will cover the qualitative tab and the trainings and meetings. So for us, I just need to cover the application assistance log. And I'll just clear out this information. And you can see here that when you are completing an application with someone, you can enter the date. You have a drop-down menu for the language. You also have a drop-down menu for the type of claim that we might be filing on behalf of this person. And also demographics. And I'll just note here that the demographics information, we can only include the federal categories. And so I realize the health authority may have other categories that are more inclusive and expansive than these. But for the employment department, we have to report federal categories, which we only have these options. Now, any claimant is allowed to decline to answer the question, so that is always an acceptable option. Then ethnicity, we have these options, again, including decline to answer. And then gender, we only have female and male options that we can report to the Department of Labor, but there's also a decline to answer function there as well. So I'm going to show you when you'll need to use this. So for filling out the application assistance log, you should fill it out whenever you're helping someone one-on-one with filing a regular unemployment insurance or UI initial or weekly claim. So anytime you help with that, anytime you help someone file their pandemic unemployment assistance or PUA initial or weekly claim, whenever you help someone file their pandemic emergency unemployment compensation or PEUC initial or weekly claim, and any other unemployment programs that we share with CPOP. And that's because we know that sometimes Congress may pass additional programs, and so we want to make sure that we would pass that information on to you. And I'll note here, in type of claim, we have included an MEUC initial claim. That program is not yet current, and we will tell you when it goes live and is available, but we've included it in the spreadsheet so that you have it available when the program goes live. So we'll definitely let you know when that happens, but in the meantime, you'll just stick with these three programs here. And again, make sure you check whether it's a weekly claim or an initial claim. Now, another time you should fill out the application assistance log is when you're providing a caller or someone who contacts you by email with information on applying for any of these programs. So maybe someone asks you about applying for regular unemployment insurance, you would fill that out. And this is in a one-on-one situation. If someone calls you or emails you and you provide them information, and I'll explain how to do that in one of our scenarios. Now, when should you not fill out this log? So please don't fill this out if you're conducting community outreach to multiple people at the same time. Maybe you're at a food bank or a church, or you're on the radio. That's something that you can report in the qualitative sheet under community outreach. So I'll just show you what I mean there. That would go here on the qualitative tab, and I'll let the health authority give you more information on that. And that's really because although you are giving a lot of people information about filing for claims, it's simply not realistic for you to try and record every single person you talk to and what you talk to about that day. So we much prefer that you put that in the qualitative section and just give a description of what you did. Now, there is an exception to this. So let's say you're at this community outreach event and you actually do assist someone in filing their initial or weekly claim for one of these programs. That's probably not going to happen often because people need to have so much information ready with them when they file the claim. But if it does happen, please do go ahead and record that in the application assistance log. So that's probably unusual, but please do record anytime you actually help someone go through and file the claim. Of course, if this is a community event, you know as well as I do, you want to make sure that their confidential information stays confidential, so make sure you have a private space to do that process. So we'll go through a couple scenarios and what the log should look like in different situations. So let's say scenario 1, the most basic, an unemployed worker who asks for your help filing for unemployment insurance. With her consent, you use the online claim system to file her initial UI claim. She provides all of her demographics information. So what the log should look like is something like this. You put today's date. We'll put the language as Spanish for all of these examples. Type of claim is UI initial claim. And she provides her race, ethnicity, and gender information. So this is what the assistance log would look like for this claimant. Scenario 2. An unemployed worker calls you and asks for your help filing for unemployment insurance. With their consent, you use the online claim system to file their initial UI claim. This claimant declines to provide any of their demographics information. So in this case, we have the same information here, today's date. The language is Spanish. It's a UI initial claim. And then you can put decline to answer for all 3 demographics categories. Scenario 3, an unemployed small business owner calls you and asks for your help filing their weekly PUA claim. With their consent, you use the PUA online system to file their weekly PUA claim. This claimant provides race and ethnicity, but shares that they are non-binary and not comfortable reporting their gender as either male or female. You explain that unfortunately, the Department of Labor only provides 2 options for gender, but you can put decline to answer instead. So in this case, we have the date, the language, Spanish, type of claim is PUA weekly claim, the race is Hispanic or Latino, ethnicity is Hispanic, and the gender for federal reporting you put as decline to answer. Scenario 4, an unemployed worker calls and asks you to explain PUA, which they haven't filed for before. Using the unemployment.oregon.gov website and your training materials from Zulamar, you provide an overview of the program and how to file. The worker decides not to file during the call. But because you provided information about filing in this one-on-one situation, you should still fill out the application assistance log. And the way we would record this, if you're giving information about how to file, is that you helped them with information on the initial claim. So this would apply if they were asking about regular unemployment insurance, PUC, or otherwise. So you'd put this as a PUA initial claim application assistance because you explained how the process worked in this one-on-one phone call. Scenario 5. You are at a community outreach event at a church and handing out flyers and talking to community members about unemployment insurance, PUA, and PEUC. You provide a lot of information about how to file for benefits. In this case, you should not fill out the application assistance log. You should include this event in the qualitative report instead. So instead of using the log, you fill out the qualitative sheet. And then scenario 6. While at the church, someone asks you for help filing their initial PEUC claim. She has all of her work history information and you have enough time to help her. So you find a private area that also follows social distancing guidelines and help her file the claim using your tablet. In this case, you should fill out the application assistance log. And this is what it would look like. The date, language, it's a PEUC initial claim, and the demographics information. So even though this is an outreach event that you would record separately in the qualitative report as outreach, you do fill out the application assistance log for this one person because you directly help them file the claim. Okay, well, I look forward to any questions from Kelsey or Lucy that you may have. Hopefully I covered everything, but please let me know if you have questions and they will help me follow up with you. Thank you so much and take care.
Perfect. I will go back to sharing the Perry. Let's see.
Yeah, and to piggyback on what Teresa was saying, please, just like we've used the qualitative portion of your report, please go ahead and use that for anything that doesn't pertain to the application log. We use that. Obviously, you want to be using that to kind of paint the picture of what you guys did in the previous months of your work. So if it does not fit into that application log, please use that. Please use the qualitative portion of the report to narrate anything that you guys are doing out there in regards to outreach, system navigation, any like TV or radio, anything like that. We want to go ahead and please use this qualitative tab to again, like I said, paint your picture of what you did with the prior months with this OED work that you're doing out there. Then the trainings and meetings tab is just as how it sounds. Nothing has changed in regard to that. If you do attend any trainings or meetings, please go ahead and put them there. That is where we'll go ahead and collect that data and just make sure we're keeping track of you guys out there, making sure you guys are up to date on your, if we have any trainings are required, anything that's required out there of you guys. So, go ahead and please put that there. I'd like to talk a little bit about just the contract itself. All the contracts are out for signature, and they've been sent out by our OCP, our Office of Contracts and Procurement lead. All have been sent out for signature, and they are coming back. All grants will be effective February 1, and you can bill us when you do send your first invoice in on March 15th for February's services. From February 1 forward, you can bill us for any of the anything that you accrued February 1 forward. Again, we do realize there might be little to no work happening in the first few weeks of February, but we want to give you the option of obviously of billing us if something did occur. Again, contracts are all out for signature, and some have been executed. And if you have any questions around, that, please go ahead and feel free to email me, and I can work with you guys directly if you have questions about your particular grant and where it might be at. But again, contracts are effective February 1 forward. First report will be due March 15th for February services forward. And at this time, Kelsey and Lucy, I'd like to, if you want to open up for questions, we can go ahead and do that.
Perfect. Thank you, Perry. I think you might have answered Ellie's question. I don't know, Ellie, did he answer your question about the signed contracts and funds?
Yes, thank you.
All right. And then if anybody else has any other questions.
This is Jamie. I have something to add if I could.
Yeah, Jamie.
I just want to reiterate from earlier how Perry mentioned to send your reports to cp.business. That particular piece is pretty important. I know that often they get sent to my actual, my direct inbox at jamie.vineyard. I would love if you could remember to send them to CP Business, mostly because I am not the only one with access to CP Business. And in the event that I'm out of the office, I would really hate to miss something very important. Perry has access to CP Business, but he does not have access to my primary inbox. So please send everything grant related to CP Business so that can get addressed in an appropriate, timely manner.
And Lucy put that email in the chat box for everybody. Thank you, Lucy.
Perfect.
Does anyone have any other questions? And if you have questions for Teresa, please put those in the chat box. We will collect them and we'll send them her way. And then we can follow up with you when she's able to answer those questions.
So this is Ping. I just want to clarify that for the tab qualitative and training and meeting, that one we don't need to worry about, right? For the last two tabs.
The qualitative is for, again, for you to, anything out of the ordinary that is not getting captured in that application assistance log. If you're doing outreach activities, please go ahead and put all that there. And again, use it. The more you use that narrative on the qualitative, the better it is for Kelsey and Lucy, to be quite honest with you, to understand what's going on. And it does help me in the sense that if you put information down there, and if you do an outreach, let's just say you do an outreach event and you bill us for that outreach event, but we don't see on the qualitative tab, you know, what that was about, we might ask you a question regarding it. So the qualitative tab is there for you to, again, paint your picture of what you did in the prior months, give Lucy and Kelsey an idea of what's going on the outreach side. It gives the business side an idea of, you know, what you're billing us on. So it is very useful, and please, again, use that as much as you can. And the trainings and meeting notes is just how it sounds.
I have a follow-up question. This is Ellie from Project Access Now. I noticed the outreach tabs, or the other two tabs that are not the activity log, don't ask for specific metrics as to how many people we've reached with whatever given outreach event, whereas CPOP and all those other grants usually do, since it's part of the metrics that we wrote into our grant project or the project proposal. Is that going to stay the same? Should we not worry about those too much, or just some insight as to why that might not be on the report?
Yeah, we're not really, and we want to capture what you're doing, but like the actual goals in your work plans, it's just there for guidance. We're not counting it as part of your report. So it's more of a, again, this does not look like your CPOP I'll Cover All Kids grant with goals and objectives, you know, and having them listed there, because it just doesn't coincide the same way. So it's not there for a reason, because it's just, you know, it's just what OED needs is just that application log. So it's much more open-ended, this grant.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Well, if no one has any other questions, I think we can head out early. I just want to say thank you to both Perry and Jamie for presenting and giving us an update on how this process works. And if you guys have any other questions that you think about later, send them to Lucy and I. I will send this training to someone who's going to create the videos for us, so I can send you guys all a link. And then I will send it up with the follow-up email as well. It'll probably, I would expect it to happen probably by tomorrow, the latest. It takes a little bit for the recording to get processed to have the link for YouTube. But other than that, I will send the follow-up. Lucy, do you have any updates for anybody, or anything that you'd like to say?
No, but I'm missing from a few organizations their contact phone number to apply for unemployment benefits. So I will follow up individually today. And I also want to say thank you so much for attending this training. If you have any question, reach out to me or Kelsey.
Perfect. I think we can head on out then. Thank you, Perry and Jamie. And thank you everybody for participating and joining today. And I will talk to you all very soon.
Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
All right.